Welcome to Jurassic Park.
They're moving in herds. They do move in herds.
Hi guys, Freaky Fish Guy here again with another video for you today. What I have in front of me though is Paleozoic Dinosaur. I played this deck last night at locals and I came third with this deck. This deck is awesome in the fact that it just gets better as Swordsoul comes out, because we are in a new format. Swordsoul is coming out, and if that deck hopefully lives up to the hype, this deck here in front of me, Paleozoic Dinosaur, has the best matchup against Swordsoul I've ever seen. It also has an insane matchup against Tribrigade. And if you want to see this deck in action, the next video coming up will be a Paleozoic versus Tribrigade match, which ends in about 8 minutes. I won't spoil why, but this deck does just cream all over Tribrigade. The basis of this deck is it's not a big aggro deck. Normally when people think of dinosaurs, they think of large go second, unga bunga smack, or maybe like scrap raptor combos. This is actually a very slow control dinosaur deck, which is quite a relief, to be honest. It's quite refreshing to play a control-y dinosaur deck. This is very much how I played the deck originally when it first came out, before True Kings were the thing. When just a structured deck came out, people were playing like Behemoth Shark Dinosaur and like Trap Dinosaur and Lost World Dinosaur. It was really fun and kind of interesting. Then obviously True Kings came out with MACR, I think it was. Yeah, Maximum Crisis, and then everything went obviously, as you know, to Combo Pop Baby. But anyway, we're gonna break into the deck. Any questions, obviously, please feel free to leave a comment below. I'm more than happy to discuss this deck. It's kind of cool. And once again, I did come third last night at locals, and there'll be some feature matches popping up now and again every time. Obviously, you see a new video. The big bad boss monster, we're actually playing 3 Ultimate Conductor Tyranno. We're playing 3 is because this is literally our primary win condition. We're not playing much extra deck stuff that is a turn ender as such, or a game ender. We need to play 3 because we are going to outgrind our opponent, believe it or not. We're just going to drop a conductor after conductor after conductor, and funny enough, sometimes we actually have to out our own if it means we win, but it's fine. Yeah, conductor is like probably the best main deck boss monster that's ever been printed, alongside Masterpiece. Attack everything your opponent controls. You can book a moon them, and then if you book a moon them and attack, you deal 1,000 for each. It's insane. Pops your babies in hand. You can also pop itself in a clutch scenario, but just a stupidly good card, to be honest. Next monster, 3 Soul Eating Oviraptor, the Stratos / Armageddon Knight of the deck. Very simple. Everyone knows what these cards do if you've ever played Dinos before. Both of these are actually getting a gold reprint, so technically now with gold Missanasaurus, you can play full gold dinosaurs, apart from Archosaur, which would be kind of cool. Yeah, like the fun thing about this deck is obviously if you have Lost World up, you give them a token, you pop the token to summon the dino from grave, but you can also protect the token. So this card does 2 things. In a dinosaur mirror match as well, at one point yesterday, I popped my opponent's monster to pop my opponent's Oviraptor to summon my Pankratops from grave, which is quite cool. So yeah, the second effect is obviously pop a dinosaur on the board, level 4 lower, summon a dinosaur from your grave. It can be any dinosaur on any board, so you clean your opponents, which is very important for later on. We are playing 3 Baby Ceratosaurus and 1 Petite Pteranodon. Some people are suggesting I play 2 and 2. I don't agree with that. I like 3 Baby Ceratosaurus. Sometimes the 1 Petite does come up though, so it is up to you, to be honest. You could play 2 and 2, but I just like this ratio more. Don't ask me why. I don't like Petite that much. Don't think it does that much other than get pank, so that's one job. So the effects are very simple. When they are popped by card effect, you can special summon a dinosaur. These summon level 4 lower, this summons level 4 or higher. So this gets Pankratops, this gets Oviraptor, Misk, if you want to summon Misk, or Megalo Smasher, which you're playing in this deck. They trigger off anything. You can pop them in the deck with Lost World as well, but they don't destroy, they're not destroyed by battle, which is the hard part. One of dinos, we are playing 1 Misk. This card needs to be at 1. As much as I hate to say it, I do miss playing like Dinosaur back when this card was at 3 originally, but this card was too good to stay at 3, so it's gone to 1 twice now. The second time I can't foresee it coming out of 1. Playing 1 Pank, because again, it's at 1, and this card is insane. You can just summon this from deck using a Petite Pteranodon, which does come up in this deck. And then finally, 1 Megalo Smasher. We're playing Lost World like control-y vibes, so we actually need another level 4 to summon. I was thinking about Beat Raptor, but this is a normal monster and it's a 2k body, which is very nice. This does have some synergy with Lost World and other cards we're playing, which we'll get onto later on. It's also water, so if you make a Beast Dweller, it gets big, which is kind of cool. That's it for the monster lineup. Yeah, I know, no Archosaur. We're not playing Archosaur in this deck, so if you have no Archosaur, then you can just play it without. I do have 2 Archosaur, thanks to the Megatins, but I'm not actually playing them in this build. You can do some wacky combos with link climbing, so if you play the Archosaur in this deck, you can actually end on like Dragoon, plus Conductor, plus backrow. Remember, we're not like a combo deck, we're just like a control deck, and Dragoon is still one of the best control, like, boss monsters there is. Personally, I didn't really like the engine that's very bricky, so instead we're just playing no Archosaur, straight up, just normal summon, OV, trigger, add, set cards, maybe pop cards with, like, Lost World. Fun stuff like that, spell cards, we are playing 3 Lost World plus a Terraforming to get to our Lost World. Lost World is what makes this deck work insanely well. If a Dinosaur is summoned, summon a token to your opponent's side of the board. This does chain block over Raptor, which is insane. We played around Gamma last night and Ash and a Crystal Wing. This card is literally what makes the deck just perfect. While there's a token on the board, your opponent cannot target monsters on the field with card effects except tokens. That's also very sweet, gives you targeting protection, stops the Fog Blade from hitting you against BK. And once per turn, if a normal monster on the field will be destroyed by a battle card effect, you can destroy that and many dinosaur-type monsters from your hand or deck instead. That's the key effect at the bottom. Any tokens or normal monsters, we'll get onto that later on, you would die, you just pop a dinosaur in deck. It's lovely, it's insane. Oh, and everything that's not a dinosaur loses 500, which does hurt you half the time, but honestly, you don't really care because the effects are so worth it. 3 Fossil Dig, we have 3 Rotor, and then 3 extra for our draw power. We don't really care about our extra deck that much, so this is pretty sweet. Now on to purple cards, the reason this deck actually works really well. We are playing 3 Survival's End. This is the best card ever printed for dinosaurs, and not a lot of people know about it. I know a few people used to play Paleozoic dinosaurs and like Lost World dinosaurs. This card is insane. Destroy as many normal monsters on the field as possible, and if you do, special summon level 4 or lower dinosaur type monsters from your deck up to the number of destroyed monsters, but destroy them during the end phase. Just board wipe tokens or normal monsters and then summon dinosaurs from deck instead. This works with Swordsoul tokens, which is why this deck gets better when Swordsoul comes out, because like they summon a Brave token, summon a Swordsoul token, whatever, you just Survival's End all the tokens away, and then they can't really play, which is nice. It has a second effect in Grave, which is also very sweet. You can banish it from the grave, target a dinosaur control and a card your opponent controls, destroy them both. It's kind of like a Drytron or a Regeki break, whatever you want to call it. Neither of these effects are once per turn, so if you have 2, you can use, well, one effect to blow up the board, summon tokens. Use another one, blow up the board, blow up the tokens, summon board. You can then banish them from grave to pop a card in the same turn, so a lot of the time I was like sending it to grave, or I just use it, I'd pop tokens, and in grave I'd pop it to pop the thing I summoned. So the normal way you do it is you pop a token, summon OV add Conductor, and in grave you can banish it, pop the OV you summoned to pop another card, and then you have two like, normally I have like 2 dinosaurs in grave at that point, which for the Conductor you added, which is very nice. The reason this deck works really well is because we are playing Paleozoic monsters. Paleozoic monsters on the board are normal monsters. So you can summon a Paleo and then use Survival's End to pop the Paleo to summon from deck and recur that way. Bear in mind, you can chain a Paleo and grave to the Survival's End activation. As long as you have a legal target on board for Survival's End, you can pop 2. Also, bear in mind, Paleos are normal monsters, which means when you have Lost World up, Paleos can be protected by Lost World. So you can Survival's End to protect your Paleo, dump a baby summon OV add, and then you can still use the grave effect of Survival's End to pop the OV you searched, summoned, then pop an opponent's card. It's really nice synergy. To go through the Paleos, so Paleozoic Morella is Foolish Burial Goods, so you just send the Survival's End to grave, because it again is that Regeki breaking grave, so you can already start popping off that way. Paleozoic Ononoides is MST, which, I mean, MST is no longer played, but having a trap version of MST that, like, has synergy with the rest of the deck is very cool. Paleozoic Canadia is a Book of Moon, which arguably we're not really lacking of with Conductor, but it does come up. You can interrupt your key plays with this while still not activating your Conductor, which means they can play around certain hand traps and certain interruptions. For example, against Virtual World, you can Book of Moon a Crystal Wing, then use Conductor, because now they can't Crystal Wing negate, because it's very, very sweet. Also, with the normal board they're making Caliuga, so you can only use one monster effect. You can Book a Moon it with that, and then you get around that restriction, which is awesome. Paleozoic Deinamiscus is basically like a karma cut. Discard a card, not for cost, and then pop an opponent's card. The really cool thing you can do with this, which is something I messed up on last night, which sucked dearly. It might have actually meant I didn't come third, is I set Survival's End. What I should have done was I should have kept Survival's End in hand, discard it for the Deinamiscus, and then you can use the Grave Effect for an extra interruption. Because as it was, when I set it, I didn't have any tokens or token access or normal monster access, so there's no point in me really setting it. So I should have kept it in hand to use a Paleozoic Deinamiscus, discard it, and obviously use it that way. But I did do that once other time, and I got screwed over by droplets, because I went Deinamiscus, target a monster you control. They went droplets, send it, negate my conductor, and then obviously, because it's not cost to discard, I couldn't dump the Survival's End. So my conductor was negated, and I couldn't dump this to pop my conductor for an extra interruption, so that went off that way. The other effect they all have, all Paleozoic monsters have, is if a trap card is activated, you can special summon from the graveyard, and while on board, they are unaffected by monster effects, which is cool. You can't pop them a conductor, but who cares? They also count as a normal monster, which we've already discussed is pretty sweet. Our other trap cards are 3 Torrential Tribute and 2 Trap Trick. The Torrential Tribute is by far the MVP trap card in this entire deck, alongside Survival's End. Like so many times yesterday, my opponents did not play around TT, and it just blew up the board. I was playing a mirror match against a Dinosaur player. He made Boros Savage, Dolka, Double Conductor, Lambda, and something else over here. I think it was a baby Ceratops. I went Deinamiscus, target your Savage, forces the negate, and then when you summon something else, summon the other conductor, I went Chain TT, blow up your entire board. Yes, he got the baby summon, but I removed both his conductors. He's only playing 2 conductor, his Savage, his Lambda, and all of his basically his like full turn combo off of 1 TT. This card needs to be respected, and a lot of people to forget about it. The really cool thing with this card though is if you have Lost World on board, so if you have Lost World face up in the Spell Trap Zone, you can go TT, chain your Paleo and Grave, summon your Paleo, everything blows up, keep the Paleo, because obviously Lost World, pop the baby in deck instead to summon Oviraptor. We're also playing Trap Trick because obviously it gets around like certain pricky hands where you can like, oh, I need a TT at this moment, so I'm gonna just summon a TT, set the TT. If they summon once more, you know they're gonna lose their board, so sometimes they're a bit iffy about it. You can get Survival's End, which did come up a few times. You can get like Deinamiscus, but you're only playing 2 in the main, so that's a bit of a problem there. Right, guys, it's that time that I give a shout out, but this is different. I am not giving a shout out to a channel that I personally watch. Normally I would, but this one is a shout out to other people. Today's shout out goes out actually to Luke, Shannon, and Adam. These are some friends from Chichester, where I originally used to live when I went to university, and I played locals there. And these guys were insanely good friends. Like, they were so nice, they were so sweet. We did a lot of fun things together. We went to regionals, went to YCSs. But unfortunately, when I moved back to my current city, I haven't been able to see them, and it feels like I haven't seen them in many years, obviously with lockdown. Last night at locals, I invited them down, and they came down. It was a great time. They had loads of fun. Shannon didn't do particularly well, but everyone had fun. But they got me a gift, and I just feel like that's something that we desperately need to bring up in the Yugioh community, is that, yes, we're all playing a competitive card game, but at the heart of it, locals is all about having fun. And I keep seeing this on my videos. People are like, oh, this person made this mistake, and why is this person on your video? They're terrible. I don't like those comments. I normally remove them. And the reason is, locals is for everyone, and Yugioh is for everyone. And this is going to turn into a pretty cringe, wholesome video suddenly, but this is my first graded card, and they all like, yay, we just got you this as a gift. I don't really see it coming, and it's really sweet. Like, if you know my channel, you know I love fish, and you know I love coelacanth as well, big C. I've got some cards to play with. I've got ultras, I've got supers, but ultras, but I've never actually had a graded card in my life, and this is going to very proudly sit on my bookshelf, and it's quite a sweet moment. So yeah, thank you very much, guys. Shout out not only to you, but anyone who is in the community that just does stuff from the good of their heart. So I've done it before. I expect many other people. Support the new people at locals. Anyone that doesn't know their card effects, don't punish them for it. Actually remind them of their cards. Be nice to people. It's not too hard. And obviously with regionals and YCS starting up, hopefully we'll be able to meet up and do some proper big events again. Anyway, now they got the cringe fest out of the way. Onto the extra deck. We are playing 1 Paleozoic Anomalocaris, 2 Opina. These are our Paleo XYZs. Obviously, we're playing Extrav, so if you want to rely on your extra deck, play multiples. I wanted to play as many stuff as I could while still playing with Extrav. This is the cool thing about this deck, is we have extra synergy with these cards. The baby dinos are level 2. which means if you really want to, if you have enough Paleos on board, you can summon the baby dino from deck using a baby dino, like the baby Ceratosaurus, which is why I play 3. You can overlay the traps and the baby dino into an Anomalocaris or Ecbania. Anomalocaris is the best one. This is Dryden on crack. It's a Towers monster effect Dryden that has a second effect with your spells and traps. As long as you keep the Paleo underneath and just detach the baby Ceratosaurus and whatever, you can still use the other effects, which is sweet. Annoyingly, with Lost World up, it does go down to 1,900, but to be honest, not a lot of things can be over that if they're also minus 1,500, so it's kind of cool. And anything that does threaten it, you can just, pop it. So yeah, Anomalocaris is a Dryden, which you can summon for free. Well, easy, I should say. Ecbania you can definitely summon for free with 1 Paleo, one Dinosaur. This is like your rotor for trap cards. You just detach one, search a trap. You can also activate traps from your hand, which is very nice, so all of your, Paleo traps become infinite impermanence. You can also use them in your turn stuff. So if you draw Dynamiscus, you can activate Dynamiscus and make a more interruptive play off the bat. Well, it wouldn't be a Paleo deck without Mr. Ribbit Boy. These are my 3 spare Toad. If you don't know my channel, I have too many Toad. We don't really make this, to be honest. I've made this once or twice in the entire time I've played this deck. It's kind of a bit win more-ish, as if you have 2 Paleo on field, you've probably already started to win because you're using cards to stop your opponent, and you normally have Conductor on board at that point. But yeah, Toad Conductor is an amazing combo. I do miss when people used to play Rescue Rabbit with 3 Megalo Smasher to make Bahamut Toad and Dino. But yeah, that's something you can do. Toad is always a nice card. 1 Sky Cavalry Centaur. You can make this, obviously, again, the baby dinos or the Paleos, and it's literally just a Zeus Turbo. These are my spare Zeuses. I've managed to actually build this deck while still keeping my fish deck completely, sleeved up, which is quite nice. Yeah, just, make this, smack, overlay into Zeus. If you play Downage, you obviously want to shove that in as well. I don't actually own a Downage, but if you have one, shove that in. The 2 Dinosaur XYZs, so Dolka and Lagia, they're actually technically dragons, but they need dinosaurs. Negates monster effects, not once per turn and not once per chain, so you can negate in the same chain, which is very cool, and it destroys, so it's a better Appaloosa. This is a solemn warning, or negates a spell or trap, which is very sweet. 1 Dweller did come up last night. You can just sit on this against Virtual World and Drytron, and it does really screw up their combo lines, which is sweet. If you make this with the Mega Smasher with Lost World up, it still stays at 17, which is also very nice. Nightmare Phoenix. I needed more things. The Paleozoic link, I'm kind of testing it. The fun thing I thought about in theory is you can send Survival's End to the grave, just set a Paleo trap. And obviously Survival's End does something in grave. So I was like, some synergy. In reality, I've never made it once in the 8 games or 9 games I've played in real life with this deck. Obviously I've played more on DB. But yeah, this card is iffy. So don't really worry about it that much. And my last spot, literally just to tailor for my locals, is the Chimera Tech Fortress Dragon. I have a relatively largish locals for UK. We've got 22 people coming now regularly. And 3 or 4 of them are playing the Cyberdark Structure deck. Because obviously it just came out. It's really cool. It's got all the big, nasty, dark dragon stuff and Imperm. But there's so many of them going around. And last night, actually, to be honest, the deck that won locals was Cyber Dragon. So if I played him, that would have been great. I'm just playing it as a tailor spot to suck at opponent's monsters. This could be something else. This could be a Downward Magician if you have that. If you want a Turbo into Zeus, it could be another Anomalocaris. It could be just, I don't know, pick a rank 4, play another one. It could be, you could replace both these for Utopia the Lightning to out Dragoon, which is the main problem this deck has. But yeah. Not going to go through the side deck, but it's basically loads of Kaiju's, Doggerin. I'm also playing Alpha and Lava Golem because I can play about more normal summon, backrow removal. I'm playing a 3rd Dynamiscus inside as well for matchups. The biggest problem this deck has is Dragoon, which is really sucky. Whenever I play Drytron, I stop their main play and they go Verte, and you're just oh, please, why this card? You also notice I'm not playing any Handtraps in the main deck, which is very important because if you go second, you do kind of really have to open a few TTs and stuff like that to board wipe. If you want to change around, please let me know in the comments what you change. Maybe add the Archosaurs, maybe add a few Handtraps. The original Paleo Dino builds from 2017, 2018, which is where this deck was good, was playing Droll and Ash, but that was because it's Spiral Goki format. I can't remember. I think it might be Goki format. Whenever Misk went to one originally. But anyway, guys, that was my Paleozoic deck profile with some dinosaurs added in. Any comments, again, feel free to leave below. I hope you guys enjoy this. If you do enjoy my content, please subscribe. I'm almost at 1K subscribers, which would be insane. And if we can keep going, that'd be awesome. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching. Goodbye.